All right, welcome to Design 300 or Design 320. This is our week one overview, and for these two courses, it's sort of the same start out. These classes are introductory, there are no prerequisites, and so the getting started is pretty much the same thing. You should know that we have two groups. We have dual ed students, and we have students that are taking the class on campus right now. They have some slightly different start dates, but the due dates are all the same. This January 8th isn't really the start of the semester, but the dual ed students are at class, so I've opened it up early. So there's two things that we want to do. We want to learn how the course works, and we want to practice some SketchUp. Now, for some of you, this will be brand new. You have not done SketchUp before, or just a little bit. And for some of you, you've actually even made these things before, the Arc de Triomphe and the Eiffel Tower. And so for some of you, this will be a little bit longer, a little bit more difficult, and a learning curve. And for some of you, it will be just practicing the same thing over again, hopefully getting faster, hopefully getting more detailed at it. And so there we go. So those are some of the things that we'll be doing. There's setting up the workspace, setting up simple shapes, things like that. So the other thing that you should know is that there are some required activities in each group, and there are some optional activities in each group. The required activities are graded, and the grade counts towards your final grade. The optional ones are graded, but the grades do not count toward your final grade. Okay? So you would say, well, why am I going to do those? It's because really to excel in the workplace, you do need more than the minimum of what we are able to teach you just within the hours of class. And our expectation is that if you're looking to get as far ahead as you can and get one of the prime jobs in the workplace, you'll probably need to do extra work. Time on task, time on the machines, time learning things that maybe are a little bit broader or deeper than other people know, sets you ahead of the group. So those are there for you. Okay, these are all based on our professional industry experience, that these activities help you advance your career. However, they're not required as part of the class. Okay, so you may wish to do them if you have time. I can suggest that you do them. However, they are purely optional. So you'll see under the requiring, there's some get started quizzes. There's an introduce yourself, and there's a logbook that will let you record your hours and your achievement. Take maybe 15 minutes to do that. And under practice SketchUp, there's set up your workspace, create simple shapes, and then there's the Arc de Triomphe and the Eiffel Tower. Optional are keys to success. These come from a guy named Musashi, great swordsman from the 1600s, and he wrote a book called Book of Five Rings. It's usually considered a classic for business in Japan, United States, and Europe. But it was about how to be good at whatever you do. Of course, he was good at chopping people with his sword, but the rules that he has transcend just the sword. And so some of these keys to success are how to apply that in the design world. There's a graphic dictionary. When you can take words and express them graphically, That means that you're going to be able to communicate as a designer. And so you'll always have an optional graphic dictionary to do. Computations are key to design. They have to be correct, they have to be right, and they're not really too complex. Usually you can create a spreadsheet that'll do them, or find an online calculator. But there will always be some sort of vocational computations for you to do. An LLM, that's a large language model. That's like ChatGPT, Google Bard, Bing, something like that. It does provide a good basic research tool. It's sort of like Wikipedia on steroids. And our goal is not to read what the output is. For what you're going to ask, I probably know the answer, could find it very quickly myself. I'm interested in, can you do research? In other words, from a given set of information, ask pertinent questions that advance your knowledge. So you'll see that the LLM research always starts with a prompt, and then depending on what comes back to you, you ask a couple more questions. So those are the optional things on learning how the course works. And then optional for Practice SketchUp is 3D printing. We have access, either the dual ed students or our students on campus have access to 3D printers. And it's good to see these things 3D printed as you're doing your design. So you should get used to doing some 3D printing. So let's look at some dates here. All this stuff will be available to you on Canvas on January 8th if you're a dual ed student, or January 15th if you are an ARC student on campus. I'm expecting that the required work for learning how the course works should take you about 2 hours of study and work. And then this optional stuff might take you 3 hours. Okay? And the submittal date is Sunday, January 21st at 11:59 p.m. It will be late after that. And you'll see in the syllabus, which is part of the Get Started quizzes, you'll see that late work is accepted. Okay, for the Practice SketchUp, same time for availability, same amount of required work, and this might take some of you a little bit longer than that, and the same due dates. Okay, so this optional might take you a little longer. This might take you a little less, but that's what I'm expecting. So there's the overview of week 1 for you, and I look forward to seeing your good work. Now remember that you'll go to Canvas, and eventually you're going to come to the assignment guide. These are all the videos and the step-by-step instructions of what you should do. So I'm going to suggest, they're not posted yet, that you watch these lecture videos ahead of time so that you know what questions you've got and what you might be needing some help with. And then you can go in and start watching the specific videos for each of the activities and see the step-by-step instructions for each one. You'll also notice that the optional ones have big red banners at the top. Okay, so if there's no red banner, it's required. If there's a red banner, it's optional. Right? And you have access to this through Canvas. And I'll look forward to seeing your good work.